What's up, y'all? Shuffle, and in this video we're going to talk about a game journalist tier list, just because these are usually fun to go over and see what the non-turbo nerds think of DD2. So we're going to dive into it, see where they're correct, see where they're not. And this is from Gamerant, and this person, Hody Johns, has actually been pumping out the articles for this game specifically, so I appreciate the coverage and the effort, even though I'm about to make fun of some stuff, so thank you. Alright, this is Darkest Dungeon 2, every hero ranked. And there's a lot of other articles that we might get to as well, but yeah, starting off, Flagellant at the bottom, 13. So the first time I looked at this article, Flagellant wasn't even here, and I don't think Bounty Hunter was here either. So it's 13. Isn't there 12? I don't know. I think we'll see. But this didn't have Flagellant or I think Bounty Hunter before, so it looks like Hody added them in since last I looked. But Flagellant at the bottom. Combination of frontline damage dealer is a careful balance. Characters like Man-at-Arms do a great job of it. Flagellant, on the other hand, does not. He has a unique healing token, but only one skill that creates it. This is talking about more, where he taunts and gives himself between like 1 and 3 pain tokens if he gets hit, and his self-damage moves trigger it, so it's actually really good. Experts using his best build, we're gonna have to go through all the best build things, will still find themselves wishing he wasn't so bent on hurting himself. More is an insane ability, and it can heal about half of his HP when it's upgraded and 30% when it's not, and that is really strong. So it's hard to believe that this move is something that's getting criticized. Being able to heal allies and take away their debuffs is a strong perk, but the Flagellant pays with its own health and stress. And so the stress only applies to Endure, and Endure is not a good move. So I'll give him credit for that one. But otherwise, being able to remove tokens and heal teammates deathless and undying are like 2 of the best heals in the game right now, especially upgraded. So it's a weird thing right here to consider that. The character has no way to deal with his stress or his stress stacks, and the self-damage can escalate out of control too easily compared to other tanks. This is 100% a skill issue. If you are overstressing with Flagellant and he is dying and you're not popping sepsis or deathless on Scourge and stuff like that to bring him back up, or more, that skill issue, 100%. I'm sorry. All right, but we gotta say it. Occultist at 12, this is correct. So Flagellant at 13, not correct. Occultist at 12, correct. Occultist is dog crap. Community keeps hoping a buff to Occultist is coming, so at least this person's reading the community chatter. Nice. Yet as players try different team combinations to fix his healing, it becomes apparent that the Occultist needs to make too many gambles to use his best moves, and those gambles often don't pan out, doing the enemy's job for them. This is pretty close to accurate, so good job on that one. The hero needs to stack up unchecked power tokens to use his best skills, but this can only be done by inflicting self-harm. Not quite. So Sackstab on combo can generate it. I think when he kills stuff with Sackstab, he can get it too. Binding Shadows can generate it. And Warlock can generate it passively. But otherwise, yeah, if you're using Chaotic Offering, all of this is correct. He hurts himself to do it. It's got a perfect build, but it requires a team that protects him, saves him from himself to make it work. This is largely on the money. Occultist is bad. The heal is bad. And his best build is unchecked power to get Burning Stars going. And that's dangerous. So I will give the nod, the tip of the hat, right, to Occultist. And then this is why there's probably 13. So this is just a typo. So there's no 11. We just go straight to Grave Robber. And Grave Robber, understandably near the bottom of the game, especially when you're throwing poison darts at a corpse from early access, by the way. So, like, if you're doing that, understandable. Grave Robber seems kind of bad. Just making fun, but yeah. Jack of all trades, master of none title goes to Grave Robber with no debate. Does it? Yeah, she's pretty close, actually. She can do a little tanking, she can do a little healing. She can't buff her allies, but she can do range damage, melee damage, so a little bit. Character has the ability to tank, heal, deal damage, apply buffs. She does not. She cannot apply buffs. She can apply buffs to herself, but not to her teammates. Apply debuff, she can't. She can't give weaken, she can't give vuln, she can't give blind, she can't give stun, she can't give debuffs. But this part, largely accurate, I don't know. Since teams have to do all of this, Darkest Dungeon 2 might seem like a perfect place for such a hero. Sadly, I mean, honestly, you could say that her best trait is that she can go into most teams. That is good. I mean, this is the same reason people hated Crusader in the first game, which I largely disagreed with. Sadly, Grave Robber's ceiling is lower than others on this list. While the other heroes are unlocking abilities that make them amazing, Grave Robber is choosing what to be average. Oh, it's brutal. Grave Robber build can compensate for this issue, but she's still lagging behind while other heroes excel. This doesn't really... I mean, this is the games journalist thing where they have to give you a surface level analysis for everything, and they can't dive into it. Like, this person just doesn't have the time to write, you know, an extra paragraph for every hero to explain what these pitfalls are, which is understandable, but what it ends up doing is it leaves a lot of just nebulous logic or vague terms out there that the reader kind of fills in the blanks for themselves, and it makes it so everyone just kind of gets the wrong idea, or they're more misled into why something is bad, you know. And they say, oh, Grave Robber's a jack of all trades and a master of none. Actually, she's a decent blight damage dealer, and she has a lot of self-sustain. That's not really a jack of all trades, but they're like, when they're presenting that, they're saying, oh, she can tank and heal and damage and buff and debuff. Like, since there's no examples of what these are, a person who doesn't know the game assumes that she can apply debuffs, but actually she can't. So when it says, oh, she's a master of none, oh, what does that mean? Oh, she's just not strong. And it's something that I really don't like when I just as a whole, when I read anything where people don't, well, like they just leave these vague terms in there that you fill in the blanks for. Like, you do the heavy lifting on trying to justify it when it's them that should be justifying it. And there's not really a huge justification here. This gets a pass because most of us know that Grave Robber sucks because of playing the game. But if you haven't played the game, then you don't know why. And for some, you know, some of you may think that's fine, but I don't. I like when people can justify their stances. And then hold on to your hats here. Bounty Hunter at 9. I'm very curious for this one. Bounty Hunter is perhaps unfairly placed on this list. So why is he here? He's a temporary hero that costs 4 candles, occasionally available for hire at an inn. Upon reaching the next inn, he disappears and will not be able to hire for the rest of the run. So, author has played Bounty Hunter. Good. Bounty Hunter's temporary nature is tough to justify, even with the best build. I have to make this video on these best build articles. That'll be next, because I really want to see what these are. I'm getting clickbaited by Hody Johns here. He's got great damage and can give a beat up character a chance to rest. But since he's not permanent and can't be built around, he'll never quite fit in perfectly with the group dynamic and should not be counted on. Ooh, he's also very tanky, so it can be tough getting him to serve. He's not. Okay. All right, let's slow this down here. All right, so the things that are right, he is temporary. He costs candles. He can give someone a break if they're beat up. Also true. These are true statements. Since he's not permanent, this is true, and can't be built around, this is 100% untrue. His kit is so diverse in terms of damage and support. He can't heal, but he can do damage, he can support, and he can go anywhere in your party. He is actually the easiest character in the game to build around. Like, yeah, if you have a specific strategy, such as you're using Occultist and soloist Jester to Daemon's Pull, get combo, and then finale at turn 1, yeah, he's not... He can actually do that! He can come hither! Because he may not be fast enough, but he can come hither to do the same thing. So never mind, dude, you can! He can do it all! He'll never quite fit in perfectly with the group dynamic. This is 100% just not true, and should not be counted on. This is discouraging players from trying Bounty Hunter, which I don't like. it's okay to say you don't like something. It's okay to find faults in it, but you shouldn't be discouraging people to not even try them, because, you know, someone may wait 100 hours and then unlock Bounty Hunter and then go, oh, he's actually cool. What the hell is this dude talking about? He's also not very tanky. This is 100% incorrect. Bounty Hunter has the highest base HP in the entire game. His defenses across the board are really good. He can block, he can weaken, he can taunt, he can disrupt stuff, he can stun things, which is a way of tanking because you prevent them from doing damage. He is so strong at this that this is 100% just incorrect. Sorry, I'm popping off a little bit. Runaway, deservedly low. Let's see. Darkest Dungeon 2, I'm trying not to spoil the next one here. Nope, kind of did. Darkest Dungeon 2 doesn't give any single hero everything they need to succeed. True, making them rely on teammates to cover certain areas. Runaway comes close to doing it all with her best build, as her stealth makes her tough to hit, and her damage over time, fire effects slowly take out enemies. Not a bad analysis. She moves ranks often, and this can make her difficult to use when she changes up an ally's attacks. Also true. It's not that it's so much difficult to plan around, it's that just, by and large, players are hesitant to make dance teams. They're not that complicated, but they are intimidating because it's like, oh, my people are moving. I have to really plan out my move, my turn orders, and stuff. And so people don't like to do that. So if you aren't sticking Runaway in the back and throwing Firefly, yeah, it can be a little intimidating. So I understand. Players who have a versatile team will enjoy how the Runaway can situationally heal, remove stealth from enemies, take care of her own defenses. She can only stealth. She has no defensive presence to speak of, and continuously stack fire damage. I'm trying to find out where the reason for putting her this low is. Because, like, I can tell you why I'd put her low, because I made a video on it, but this person's kind of talking her up. And it's really just here. This is like the only thing. It's difficult to build around her sometimes, which it's not even that difficult. So I don't know why she's down here. You know, the reason you put her down here is that if you're not building Arsonist or Orphan, she does no damage. And she has to deal with resist constantly on the enemy. And so she doesn't have as much damage output in a game that's really focused on damage. That's why she's bad, or not as good in her heal situation, which they kind of talked about, but... Alright. Leper. Let's see. Perfect. Leper at 7. Leper is a tank and raw damage dealer with an incredibly high ceiling. True. Players may steer clear of him because, like, some of the enemies lower on this list. You mean the heroes? He comes with a drawback. He starts with 2 stacks of blind and has moves that can add blindness to attacks. This is partly true. He doesn't always start with 2 blind. He has a passive that has 2 parts. It's a chance to give him 1 blind and then a lower chance to give him 2. And as far as the moves that can blind him, it's only 3. The Leper's blindness can be negated by his own skills or by using up and placing combo tokens with his ideal build. I love the bait. Very, very well done. Well placed, Mr. or Mrs. Johns. He's a great tank, even if he never lands a single hit. True. And heals himself on the front lines, which is a good bonus for players that don't want to overstuff the squad with healers. You know what? Kind of nailed it. Really nothing to pick apart. You know, even compared to the previous criticisms with, like, Grave Robber, he actually explains some of the stuff that's incorrect, or not incorrect, but, like, bad about the character, you know, where he can blind himself, and he does have some upsides because he's a pretty durable unit. Really just not bad, not a bad way to spend 2 paragraphs, so I'll give kudos and props where they are due. Hellion. Let's see what we say about Hellion. I'm curious where they got this picture, because I've used this picture for thumbnails, so I'm wondering if I mean, the last time I ripped up on a journalist tier list, people are like, "Oh, you think they're looking at your videos for you know, logic and explanations and footage?" And it's like, yeah, I would if I was this lazy. I'm not saying this person's lazy, but if I was a lazy game journalist, hell yeah, I would just type in Darkest Dungeon tier list and just go pillage it for info. Of course, you can have it done in 10 minutes. Anyway, video games are perfect for medieval settings, and the Hellion fits right into the style. She gets stronger as her health dwindles and has Raucous Revelry, which I'm surprised this is the standout move because Adrenaline Rush is better. A skill that heals the entire group. It heals their stress if they're over the threshold, but it actually doesn't heal them. And reduces their stress levels. So when it says a skill that heals the entire group, the wording here does imply that it heals their HP when it doesn't. It just heals her HP and reduces everyone's stress. She can also remove debuffs on her. She can remove damage over time, but she can't remove like weaken, vuln, and blind and stuff. I think what this is referring to is that Adrenaline Rush gets rid of Winded. If I had to guess. Well, maybe not. The only drawback is a unique debuff called Winded, which reduces her damage output and speed, but the damage output's important too. But she has so many moves that clear all stacks of Winded that this doesn't become an issue. She has 3, so yeah, kind of hyping it up a bit, but you know, she does have 3. Okay. When paired with a great healer and using her best build, the Hellion is overpowered. If I open this and it's not Ravager, I'm gonna laugh so freaking hard. But yeah, so like I said, we'll do that for another time. Not bad. The thing I would say is that healer, she doesn't really need a healer, she needs like another tank. So if you really want to get the most out of her damage up passive, like where she gets bonus damage the lower her HP gets, you want to have her with a tank. So this way the tank can taunt or guard her once she gets under the threshold, and you can keep her there relatively safely. Because if not, she can just get hit again, and yeah, she might be in trouble. Yeah, Hellion mid-tier? Yeah, I can get down with that. Jester? No! There's no way, dude. There is no way. There's no way this character's at the bottom. Or in the mid. Jester's biggest drawback is that most of his skills move him around. Again, we're seeing that the average, not super nerd Darkest Dungeon player doesn't like dance teams. We have Grave Robber who can move, we have Runaway who can move, and now Jester, and people are hesitant to do it. Players will often have a team that has preferred ranks or rank spots, and he'll mess up that vibe quickly. He doesn't even have to do that actually, because you can stuff him in like rank 3 and just give him the bleed skills, Tune and Encore, and like Echoing March. He never has to move depending on how you build him, but even then, having him in the back with Plague Doctor, she does everything she wants in 4 and 3 unless you're Surgeon, and so you just fade to black, Razor's Wit, and there's no change in what your team's doing. But like I said, it is intimidating for people. However, more often than not, Jester makes up for his shifting around by applying more combo tokens than anyone. True. Actually true. So he puts out a lot of combo, which is good. This is a big deal because some heroes, such as the Occultist, are terrible without... Occultist? Occultist with combo? Occultist? Like, Occultist? Without combo? What? Characters that want combo are Leper, Grave Robber, Bounty Hunter, possibly Highwayman, if you want to stun stuff. Occultist? Occultist doesn't need combo. What? Are terrible without combos getting set up, and other heroes can have their damage get out of control, such as Leper. What? Wait, what? This is a big deal because some heroes, such as the Occultist, are terrible without combos getting set up, and other heroes can have their damage get out of control. I think this means, this is weirded strangely, but I think it means that Leper's damage can like be very literally hit and miss if there's no combo. Best build for Jester quickly makes him a party favorite. So again, trying to scare people off with dance moves. Highwayman, probably fourth. Okay. Highwayman is as close as it gets to a straight up damage dealer. True. He's got a mix of ranged and melee attacks, enabling him to have some usefulness at any rank. True. Even the first, though, even up front, even though his low defense makes him a liability up front. The spot, this is the same as DD1, I feel like. The spot that gets hit most in the game is actually rank 2, not rank 1. So rank 1's a little bit safer than 2, but not by much. But otherwise, I do understand this. His best build utilizes his solid attacks from the second position, but players that use the Runaway or Jester may want to keep the Highwayman with a mix of ranged and melee so he can attack from anywhere. He's nothing splashy, but he's got solid damage, and that's an important role to fill. Largely hits the mark. Doesn't talk about take aim at all. But Highwayman is a consistent damage dealer, and the game is damage focused. You need to kill monsters to win the game. And so having someone like him can be helpful. So fourth, yeah, somewhere around there. Plague Doctor. This is interesting, because the first time I saw this, I'm pretty sure someone else was third, and it was not PD. So we'll see what changed here. Plague Doctor is unlocked from the start of the game, and gamers aren't going to find a better hero regardless of who they unlock. So this is how you can tell that she used to be 1. She was first in the first time I saw this list, so the way this is worded makes it seem like, you know, they just swapped her and put her down. Character has tremendous healing and can clear up any negative debuffs while turning those debuffs into more healing. This is indiscriminate science. So this person not afraid of IS. I was watching, I watch streamers when I'm not streaming this game just because it's fun to watch this game for me. And I see people who get indiscriminate science the first time, which is the one where it consumes tokens off your heroes to heal them. They are afraid of using it because they see, oh, my positive tokens are gone. When in reality, that can be really good, because sometimes you have a token you don't need, like you might get a random block token that, hey, guess what? Now it's healing. So using IS is good. If this isn't enough, the best build for Plague Doctor enables the hero to place Blight, Fire, and Bleed on its opponents, killing bosses every time their turn comes up. So long as the character stays in rank 3 or 4, its only weakness, low defenses, doesn't come into play. So it sounds like this person... I like the gender neutral terminology, because this person probably doesn't know if Plague Doctor is a man or a woman, and a lot of people don't know that PD's a girl. So it's funny seeing the very cautious wording here, or maybe they're just that progressive. Who knows? Which that's completely cool, completely fine. So long as the character stays in rank 3 or 4, its only weakness, low defense, doesn't come into play. This is spot on. This is spot on. So good job on PD. She is a high tier character. She is good for these reasons. And her only huge weakness is positioning, which is covered here, and her bad defense. So thumbs up. Man at Arms, not too... Who hasn't been talked about? Who hasn't been talked about yet? I can't think of it. Okay, so Man at Arms, maybe that's... I don't know, maybe it's a glitch with the ranking, but Man-at-Arms is the best character in the game. Let's see. The Man-at-Arms is the undisputed king of applying blocks or block buffs to himself and maybe another at the second rank. I don't think he can give block to someone else. I think this means guard, but guard's not a block token. What may appeal to players who use characters like Runaway or Jester is that this hero is capable of crawling back to the front lines and can even debuff himself, so he can't be moved back. So this is immobilize. It is a debuff, and this is correct. So he can immobilize himself up front with hold the line. So that's good. As enemy damage starts to escalate with increasingly common ordainment enemy buffs. Okay, so person who has gone past the valley. Good job. The number of allies who can take a hit and shrug it off will dwindle. The best Man-at-Arms build has no issue absorbing these blows and reducing stress from repeated hits. Pretty spot on. There's no mention of how Man-at-Arms literally breaks every boss encounter in the game. Like, yeah, he can take some hits, but he has so many situational skills that he can just throw on for bosses, and it can just end boss mechanics, like troublesome bosses that can move you, he can hold the line. If they get crit and riposte, he can bellow those off. If they do a lot of damage all over the place, he can guard and taunt. So he has answers to everything, which is why he's so strong. So who's number one? No! No! No way! No! No! No way! I'm sorry. Nobody has tougher build choices than the Vestal, who has unique buff and debuff abilities that can change depending on the path selected. Her buffs are unique, her debuffs are not unique. She has weaken and vulnerable like everyone else. These various paths even change the way certain skills function, altering the character's performance partway through the game. So that is a largely correct analysis. What's interesting too is that right here, you know, we've just read an entire article where every dance character is penalized for being tough to build around, and then we see no one has tougher build choices than Vestal, which is why she's number one. And Vestal's actually not that tough to build. You put on the consecrations and then like a damage ability and then whatever situational skill you need and then a heal. So I guess the situational skills can be tough. The various paths do change how she plays, because she is one of the three characters right now that have the new path system. It's her, Flagellant, and Grave Robber, of all people. And the other ones don't. With the right build for Vestal, she has support capabilities that can't be contested. Her most overpowered abilities from the first game somehow make it back to the second. Her consecrations, just typo, once placed, support the team with her needing to use a skill. Okay, so I think this last bit just kind of, this is hastily typed. So it's supposed to be, I think, without her needing to use a skill, but I mean, she has to use it the first turn. But her consecrations do get big value. Her most overpowered abilities from the first game make it to the second. This is not 100% true. Her most overpowered abilities were Divine Comfort, which has been heavily balanced to actually be a fair ability. It's a strong one, but it's not overpowered. And then her other super overpowered ability was her stun, which she doesn't have. Just not in the game at all. It's gone. And so her Divine Grace, the single target heal, is fair. Mantra, you know, is alright. And yeah, her best abilities are actually her buffs, her consecrations. So overall, this tier list gets some stuff right, but it gets some stuff very comically incorrect. So it's fun. It's fun. So I hope the author takes this in stride, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll do the best builds videos soon. I really want to see what these are. I might record that after I eat some food, and it'll be a later date. As for other videos, I'm editing the Runaway guide right now. I'm like halfway through it, and I'm gonna do a sprawl guide too. I got footage for it, and I recorded the audio, but I don't know if I'm happy with it, so I might redo that. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Been getting a lot of support. I really appreciate that. Join Discord and stuff. Check the box for links. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.